Desires make slaves out of kings, and patience makes kings out of slaves. To get what you love, you must first be patient with what you hate. Do not allow your heart to take pleasure with the praises of people, nor be saddened by their condemnation. Knowledge without action is wastefulness, and action without knowledge is foolishness. Declare your jihad on 13 enemies you cannot see: egoism, arrogance, conceit, selfishness, greed, lust, intolerance, anger, lying, cheating, gossiping, and slandering. If you can master and destroy them, then will be ready to fight the enemy you can see. Those who look for seashells will find seashells. Those who open them will find pearls. Never have I dealt with anything more difficult than my own soul, which sometimes helps me and sometimes opposes me. You must convince your heart that whatever Allah has decreed is most appropriate and most beneficial for you. The happiness of the drop is to die in the river. Often love between two people intensifies not because of beauty or some advantage, but because of sheer spiritual affinity. Half of disbelief in Allah in the world is caused by people who make religion look ugly due to their bad conduct and ignorance. Whoever says that all music is prohibited, let him also claim that the songs of birds are prohibited. Does money upset the hearts of learned men? He answered, men whose hearts are changed by money are not learned to completely trust in Allah is to be like a child who knows deeply that even if he does not call for the mother is totally aware of his condition and is looking after him. Remember your contemporaries who have passed away and were your age. Remember the honors and fame they earned, the high posts they held, and the beautiful bodies they possessed. Today all of them are turned to dust. They have left orphans and widows behind them, their wealth is being wasted, and their houses turned into ruins. No sign of them is left today, and they lie in dark holes underneath the earth. Picture their faces before your mind's eye and ponder. The hypocrite looks for faults, the believer looks for excuses. Each of your breaths is a priceless jewel, since each of them is irreplaceable and once gone, can never be retrieved. A man of bad character punishes his own soul. The way to paradise is an uphill climb, whereas hell is downhill. Hence, there is a struggle to get to paradise and not to hell. The corruption of religions comes from turning them to mere words and appearances. A human being is not a human being while his tendencies include self-indulgence, covetousness, temper, and attacking other people. Do not dispute with anyone in any matter as far as possible. For in argumentation lies much harm, and its evil is greater than its benefit. You possess only whatever will not be lost in a shipwreck. Knowledge exists potentially in the human soul like the seed in the soil. By learning, the potential becomes actual. Whoever determines the truth from people alone will remain lost in the plains of bewilderment. Rather, know the truth, and you will know its people. People count with self-satisfaction the number of times they have recited the name of God on their prayer beads, but they keep no beads for reckoning the number of idle words they speak. Man's nature is made up of 4 elements, which produce in him 4 attributes, namely, the beastly, the brutal, the satanic, and the divine. In man there is something of the pig, the dog, the devil, and the saint. This visible world is a trace of that invisible one, and the former follows the latter like a shadow. If those who do not possess knowledge avoid the scholarly discussions, disagreement will end. If the first inward thought is not warded off, it will generate a desire, then the desire will generate a wish, and the wish will generate an intention, and the intention will generate the action, and the action will result in ruin and divine wrath. So evil must be cut off at its root, which is when it is simply a thought that crosses the mind, from which all the other things follow on. If you're busy with yourself now, you will be busy with yourself then. If you are busy with Allah now, you will be with Him then. When you have a bad suspicion about a Muslim in your heart, you should increase your consideration toward him and make dua for him. This way you will infuriate Satan and will be able to drive him away. Because of this, Satan will be reluctant to put evil thoughts into your heart, afraid that you would increase your consideration towards your brother and will make dua for him again. Neglect not your time, nor use it haphazardly. On the contrary, you should bring yourself to account. Structure your litanies and other practices during each day and night. This is how to bring about the spiritual blessing in each period. If each of your breaths is a priceless jewel, be not like the deceived fools who are joyous because each day their wealth increases while their life grows ever shorter. In God, there is no sorrow or suffering or affliction. If you want to be free of all affliction and suffering, hold fast to God and turn wholly to Him and to no one else. Indeed, all your suffering comes from this, that you do not turn toward God and no one else. O youth, be it assured that knowledge alone does not strengthen the hand, though a man read 100,000 scientific questions and understood them or learned them, but did not work with them, they do not benefit him except by working. Knowledge is the tree, and working is its fruit, and though you studied 100 years and assembled 1,000 books, you would not be prepared for the mercy of Allah the Exalted except by working. Remember, it is the heart and not the body, which strives to draw near to God. By heart I do not mean the flesh perceived by the senses, but that secret thing which is sometimes expressed by spirit, and sometimes by soul. Are you ready to cut off your head and place your foot on it? If so, come, love awaits you. Love is not grown in a garden, nor sold in the marketplace. Whether you are a king or a servant, the price is your head, and nothing less. Yes, the cost of the elixir of love is your head. Do you hesitate? Zero miser, it is cheap at that price. Work for your terrestrial life in proportion to your location in it, and work for your afterlife in proportion to your eternity in it. Anyone who refuses to marry is shrinking his farm work, wasting the seed, and leaving idle the appropriate tools created by God. He sins against the purpose of creation and wisdom visible in the evidence of natural structure. The man who refuses to marry has severed a chain of being, a previously unbroken chain linking his own existence to that of Adam. There are two kinds of riyah showing off ostentation, i.e. pure ostentation and adulterated ostentation. In pure ostentation riyah, a man does a good deed only for worldly benefit. In adulterated ostentation, a man does a good deed with the intention of reaping the benefits of the world as well as of the hereafter. No, O beloved, that man was not created in jest or at random, but marvelously made and for some great end. Although he is not form everlasting, yet he lives forever. And though his body is mean and earthly, yet his spirit is lofty and divine. Do not fix hopes on your health, and do not laugh away life. Remember how they walked, and now all their joints lie separately, and the tongue with which they talked lightly is eaten away by the worms. Men have such a good opinion of themselves, of their mental superiority and intellectual depth. They believe themselves so skilled in discerning the true from the false, the path of safety from those of error, that they should be forbidden as much as possible the perusal of philosophic writings. The mere physical man is like the ant crawling on the paper, who observes black lettering and attributes its production to the pen and nothing more. The soul should take care of the body, just as the pilgrim on his way to Mecca takes care of his camel. But if the pilgrim spends his whole time in feeding and adorning his camel, the caravan will leave him behind, and he will perish in the desert. Only that which cannot be lost in a shipwreck is yours. He who buries his head deep into a nosebag full of food cannot hope to see the invisible world. It is sometimes said that we drink our religion with our mother's milk. He who does not arrive at the intuition of these truths by means of ecstasy knows only the name of inspiration. No one who possesses snow would find any hardship in exchanging it for jewels and pearls. This world is like snow exposed to sun, which continues to melt until it disappears altogether, while the next life is like a precious stone that never passes away. Whatever the situation may be, in the recollection of death there is reward and merit. For even the man engrossed in the world benefits from it by acquiring an aversion to this world, since it spoils his contentment and the fullness of his pleasure, and everything which spoils for man his pleasures and his appetites is one of the means of deliverance. If the world had two gods, it would surely go to ruin. This is the first premise. Now it is known that it has not gone to ruin. This is the second premise. From these premises the conclusion must of necessity follow, that is, the denial of two gods.